The year 1968 stands as a pivotal juncture in history, a 12-month span that encapsulated an extraordinary tapestry of historic, cultural, and social upheavals. In this video, we'll delve into the most important historic and cultural aspects of this transformative year. Join Facts First as we present the most historic moments in the year 1968. Worldwide events. One of the most iconic moments of 1968 was the May protests in France. Millions of students and workers took to the streets of Paris and other major cities demanding political and social reforms. What began as a student protest against university policies quickly escalated into a full-blown nationwide movement. The protests nearly brought down the French government, leading to intense political and social debates about the future of the nation. On the other side of the globe, the Tet Offensive in Vietnam was a watershed moment in the ongoing Vietnam War. In January 1968, North Vietnamese and Viet Cong forces launched a massive offensive against American and South Vietnamese forces during the Tet holiday. The sheer scale and audacity of the attack took many by surprise and led to a significant shift in public opinion in the U.S. against the war. It was a turning point that ultimately influenced American policy and the eventual withdrawal of U.S. troops from Vietnam. 1968 was marked by the Prague Spring in Czechoslovakia, where attempts at political liberalization were met with a Soviet-led invasion that crushed the reformist movement. In Mexico, the Summer Olympics became a platform for both sporting excellence and political statements as athletes used the global stage to protest against racial inequality and injustice. U.S. events. The assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in April of 1968 stands out as one of the most significant events in the U.S. Dr. King, a towering figure in the civil rights movement, was gunned down in Memphis, Tennessee, sending shockwaves throughout the country. His tragic death sparked riots and protests in cities across America as people expressed their grief and anger while demanding an end to racial injustice and inequality. Another major event was the assassination of Senator Robert F. Kennedy in June. Kennedy, who had been campaigning for the Democratic presidential nomination, was shot and killed in L.A., casting a shadow over the nation's political landscape. His assassination further heightened the sense of turmoil and uncertainty that defined the year. 68 was also the year of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, where violent clashes between protesters and the police played out on live television. The tumultuous convention highlighted the deep divisions within the Democratic Party and the broader American society. Amidst the backdrop of social and political upheaval, the year witnessed the emergence of the Black Power movement, the rise of feminist activism, and continued efforts to secure civil rights for marginalized communities. Music. 1968 was a vibrant and dynamic period in music, marked by the emergence of iconic musicians and groundbreaking albums. The Beatles, one of the most influential bands of all time, released their eponymous double album, commonly referred to as the White Album. This ambitious collection of songs showcased their versatility and creativity, featuring classics like While My Guitar Gently Weeps and Blackbird. Another musical titan who rose to prominence in 1968 was Jimi Hendrix. His album, Electric Ladyland, pushed the boundaries of rock music with its innovative guitar work and psychedelic soundscapes, including the iconic track All Along the Watchtower. Hendrix's virtuosity and stage presence made him a legendary figure in rock history. Soul music was also thriving in 68, with Aretha Franklin's powerful rendition of Respect becoming a feminist and civil rights anthem. Her soul-stirring vocals and commanding presence solidified her status as the Queen of Soul. Dance crazes continued to captivate the nation, with the twist still enjoying popularity from its earlier emergence in the 60s. And 68 was the year when music festivals began to gain prominence, setting the stage for the counterculture movement of the late 60s and early 70s. The Newport Pop Festival featured an eclectic lineup of artists like The Byrds, Jefferson Airplane, and more. Pop culture. 1968 was a transformative year in pop culture, with many significant events that shaped the entertainment landscape. In cinema, Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey premiered and revolutionized science fiction filmmaking with its groundbreaking visual effects and philosophical themes. And Roman Polanski's psychological horror film Rosemary's Baby became a sensation, blending terror and paranoia in a way that resonated with the anxieties of the time. On the small screen, Star Trek made its debut, introducing viewers to a visionary space exploration series that went on to become a beloved franchise. In pop culture events, '68 was also the year that the Summer Olympics were held in Mexico City. These games not only showcased athletic excellence, but also became a platform for political statements as athletes used the global stage to protest against racial inequality and injustice, most notably with the iconic Black Power salute during the medal ceremony. And '68 witnessed the birth of future Hollywood stars like Will Smith and Hugh Jackman. Fashion. The fashion trends of '68 were a vivid reflection of the cultural and social upheavals that defined the era. This pivotal year witnessed a remarkable shift in fashion as traditional norms gave way to more daring and unconventional styles. One of the most iconic trends of '68 was the rise of the miniskirt, epitomized by Mary Quant. Another notable fashion trend of '68 was the mod look, which had its roots in London's Carnaby Street. It featured tailored suits, turtlenecks, and bold geometric patterns. The counterculture movement had a profound influence, with tie-dye shirts, bell-bottom pants, and fringe vests becoming emblematic of the era's rebellion against societal norms. Furthermore, the hippie subculture popularized flowing maxi dresses and bohemian-inspired attire. Flower crowns, peace symbols, and eclectic jewelry were common accessories. Men sported longer hair and beards, rejecting the clean-cut look of previous decades, and women experimented with various styles, from the sleek and straight to the voluminous and textured. Toys. Some of the most popular toys of the time captivated the imagination of young ones and became enduring classics. Among these, the Easy Bake Oven held a special place in the hearts of young, aspiring chefs. This iconic toy allowed children to bake miniature treats with a real working oven. Hot Wheels cars were another 1968 sensation, introducing miniature die-cast vehicles with sleek designs and thrilling racing tracks. These tiny cars quickly became a favorite among young enthusiasts. Meanwhile, G.I. Joe action figures continued to captivate young imaginations, allowing kids to embark on adventures with their posable military heroes. It also saw the release of the game Operation, which tested children's dexterity and patience as they attempted to remove tiny body parts from a patient without triggering a buzzer. Cost of common goods. In 1968, the cost of goods in the U.S. was significantly lower. Gasoline averaged around 34 cents a gallon, a fraction of the prices we see today. This affordability made car ownership more accessible to the average American. A gallon of milk cost about $1.07, making it an affordable staple. Bread, another essential, was priced at about 22 cents for a loaf. When it came to big purchases like a new car, the average price in '68 was about $2,800 for a basic model. And housing costs were also notably lower. The average price for a new house was around $24,700, making homeownership more attainable for many Americans. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your strongest memory from 1968? Let us know in the comments section below.